Right. Never fear. Tribulation is here. We have reached day 159, and the world continues to spiral downwards into chaos. You know, there's kind of a concept that crap or shit flows downhill. Once it picks up momentum, it's kind of hard to stop. It's not to say that we can't put the brakes on it, and if we each in our own way try to be positive, it's a way of slowing it down. But in the meantime, it's still moving downhill. So, on a global economic level, the world still seems to be headed towards an imminent financial collapse. Basically spurred on by the debt crisis in the EU, the European Union. Their banks are going to be the ones that fold first, but right behind them are the American banks, which really aren't in any better shape. So, the bottom line is, we're looking at a market crash, we're looking at money devaluing, we're looking at people, just like the Great Depression, doing a run on the banks, where everybody's trying to get to a versatiller and withdraw their cash. So, if money isn't worth anything, certain other things will be. Gold, cigarettes, food, water, energy. And eventually, I think there'll be a new global standard. The question would be is whether any or all of that gets put in place peacefully or non-peacefully. Because that's kind of another leg of this tribulation, is just wars and rumors of war. And, kind of looking around the globe, it's looking kind of dark. This morning, everybody's talking about Gaddafhy being killed. I've seen the video of some body being dragged through the streets. Kind of hard to tell if it's him. And really, it doesn't even matter. The dude's pretty much been removed from power. Now, in the Middle East, there's a vacuum where from Tanzania to Libya to Egypt, they're going to hold elections, democracy in action, see who gets elected. All I can tell you is sometimes tyranny cloaks itself in democracy, and once it has power, you find out there's no democracy, there's just tyranny. So, I still got to see it to believe it, that any of these Middle Eastern countries are actually going to transform into what we would consider a free and open society with a democratic form of government, of respecting human rights and equal representation for people. Got to see it to believe it. But on the war front, I think there's all sorts of crazy stuff. The Middle East is destabilized. New people are coming to power. Some people are growing in their power, like President Assad of Syria. I think his power base is growing. Iran, one way or the other, is going to exert itself into the mix. And of course, just the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, can probably flare up. Elsewhere around the world, Korea is a big mess. North Korea, thousands of people are starving. In Russia, we got Vladimir Putin coming back to power. And, you got to wonder, what is his global agenda? And we already know what the Chinese's global agenda is. They just want to take over the world. They're already buying the world for the most part. So, the extreme weather around the world kind of continues. Some places like Bulgaria, they're getting winter, where one day it's like summer, the next day they got a blizzard rolling in. We got dust storms, in Texas and sweeping across Asia. got all sorts of earthquake activities and, just a lot of volcanic activity. Volcanoes kind of rumbling to life with lots of earthquakes and magma flows. And the earthquakes are everywhere, and the volcanoes, from Hawaii to South America to Spain to Iceland to Russia to Indonesia to the Philippines, you name it, everybody's got a volcano rumbling to life. I think one way or another, that's all part of that 2012 window where, on a celestial level, on a galactic level, there are forces at work we may not understand, but they probably have to do with star alignments and planetary alignments and or objects coming through our solar system. The sun still seems to be acting kind of crazy. Jupiter has been brighter than bright. Every night it's out there in the night sky. It's like the brightest star out there, Jupiter. And, Jupiter is an interesting planet. Will it be affected by the sun? Because Jupiter has a lot of characteristics of a sun that hasn't ignited yet. So just think about that for a minute. But around the world, between hurricanes and typhoons and flooding and mudslides, there's, disease and pestilence breaking out everywhere and a lot of famine. The Earth just reached 7 billion people, an incredible number. That's just people alive on the planet, so there's even more being born. And of course that means there's even more dying. But everybody's kind of looking at it saying, can the planet support 7 billion people? And at the current birth rate, even within 5 years it jumps up to like 9 billion or 10 billion, and it's like, how are we going to feed all these people? Because it doesn't really seem like we're doing it right now. So, the tribulation continues. Sinister forces are aligning, in my opinion. It's the New World Order. Somebody may have a good vision of how the world should operate, but chances are that somebody has a darker vision of how the world should operate. From a singular point of power, a pyramid where somebody controls everybody and everything. And, that's when you figure out what you're worth in their eyes, which is usually nothing. So anyway, the tribulation continues. Think positive. I've been kind of working on various things and doing some various things, but I'll keep you kind of posted on that. I'm going to try and do something positive today. All right, everybody, rock on. Peace.